Hello there, welcome to the show. 2 channels here, now you know. Like and subscribe, it's all we need. Alternature or here to speak. And defense, let's take a peek. Collaborating for your eyes. Sharing content, no surprise. Together we shine brighter than one. Join our journey, it's just begun. Like and subscribe, hit that bell. Enjoy the show and wish us well.
Hello. Sorry we're late. I forgot to hit go
Yeah.
live again.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
I'll admit it. I hit the intro and didn't hit go live.
That's all right. It's a good thing I like the song. How are we, peeps? Happy Monday. Apparently.
For sure. For sure.
Hey, Gab's a brass sandwich.
And George was here. Don't know if he's still here, but it was good to see you, George. You and Gabby behave in that chat.
And how are you, Bri? Missed you.
Oh,
Missed you.
why are you staticky?
That would be me. Shh, stop.
Good morning, Brian. We were talking about you. We were nothing bad. We were just worried.
And then you popped up in chat.
You were like, "Hey, everybody!" So, thank you for that, Jody.
Welcome.
1 month. Yay!
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought it was longer than that. I've only been paying for a month.
I've been busy.
Yeah,
well,
it gets like that.
You know what they say about all work and no play. That's all I know. All right.
You know they say about guys with big hands.
And big
they wear big gloves.
And they wear big shoes. Well, I guess I should introduce us. I'm Alternate Juror, and this is the Defense Rest with Jody from the land down under.
Oh, yeah.
So, as I always say, she's in the future, so we know that the next day's coming when she doesn't disappear. If Jody ever disappears, we're in trouble. That's all I'm saying.
Did you get my weather video on Discord?
I don't know. I'll have to look back.
Oh, it was shocking on Friday. No.
I don't think so.
Yesterday.
I'll have to take a look. I'll have to take a look. I have not done much. All right. So today we are covering a sentencing, and you may not remember this trial because it was literally like a blip on our trial streams. It was a day before we went to that wonderful witchcraft trial in Iowa with hazmat suits and lots of body fluids and things. We haven't recovered from that one. Yeah. So this is the Bursey Armstrong. It was the Bursey Armstrong trial in Florida. He was accused of unaliving his, I don't remember if she was girlfriend or fiance. She was a DJ, radio DJ down in Florida.
Tasheka?
And
Tasheka?
Do what? Tasheka, yeah.
Tasheka, yep.
They had 2 children that lived with her because he didn't even live in the state. And honestly, I didn't take the time to go look to see what state he was from because he's gross and I don't
He lived with his mum.
And when he would come to Florida, he would stay with his mother an hour away instead of staying with Tasheka and his children. So he is accused of unaliving her. She was 4 months pregnant at the time with their 3rd child. During the court during his trial, they went through text messages and you could see where she was kind of trying to cut things off, but never could. And that's really sad because that may have made the difference of her being here versus her not being here. Also, we found out during trial that the neighbor downstairs below Tasheka's apartment heard what was happening and called 911. She could hear, like, through those floors had to be thin because she could hear her take a breath. She could hear her telling him to stop.
Yeah, I
She called
love you,
911.
stop, or something like that.
Yes, like it was, she heard a lot. She called 911. The cop was there fairly quickly, but she wouldn't speak to him. She was too scared to speak to the police because she was scared.
I think she
So,
had passed by then. Oh, the one below, sorry, yes.
yeah, the
One
911
below, yeah,
caller.
yeah, yeah.
So the police go upstairs to Tasheka's door. They say there is no signs of a forced entry, but the door is open. And it's quiet. So instead of yelling into the door, like, "Hey, police, is everyone okay?" They did nothing except shut the door, secured it,
And
and
leave.
left. Well, what was going on inside of there is speculation. We believe that he was still in there at that time because her children were in there at that time and they were very quiet. And there
Mhm.
was no way that they did not hear what was happening because he unalived her with, I think he fired 4 rounds to hit her. So it wasn't quiet. Those poor kids, and they were young, they are young, were found at 5:30 the next evening. This happened at 1:30 in the morning by her mother, who went to check on her. I believe her daughter, Tasheka's daughter, had put a blanket over her mom and was beside her holding her hand.
Yep.
And the other toddler, who I think is a brother, was laying on the blood-soaked
Blood-soaked
bed,
bed.
trembling. And they had been that way for a day and a half.
Mm.
And the mom says there was signs of forced entry, which makes me believe even more he was still in that apartment
Well, they showed the door at
and that
trial that
he made the damage after
after.
to make it look like a robbery gone wrong, what have you. But I have no sympathy for this man because he left his children there. He did it in
Yep,
front of his children, and he
yep.
unalived one of his children. If you didn't want to be with her, walk away.
Mhm.
You didn't even live in the state. You had a life, obviously outside of her. Go do it. Now you don't. So he was not charged first degree. He was charged second degree. And so I'm not sure what the penalties will be for that. I know first degree is automatic life in Florida. There's no need for anything. Um, so we will see what happens there. You guys, if you don't remember the trial, you'll probably remember the lawyer, this a prosecutor, because she wore that cute French braid in her hair, and she has it in her hair again today. So, also, you might remember the courtroom. It's huge, and audio was
Crap.
iffy. So I don't have it blasting, but you have to let me know if I need to turn it up or turn it down so that you guys can hear it. They're going to go through some pre-sentence corrections here first after he comes in. And so that way, that should give us hopefully a good idea of what the audio is supposed to be like. And good morning, Bree.
Hi, Bree. Not looking forward to the victim impact statements,
No,
especially if
because
her mother speaks.
So, alrighty, let me move
Poor kids.
these up there. I'm hoping that was really loud for me. I'm hoping that
Mm.
the kids are young enough to um, just not remember that trauma in their
Oh,
lives.
thanks, Bri. You're a legend. You always come through with the goods.
All right, so up to 30 years in prison. That's not long enough. You
No.
should. I hope it is. I hope it's up to 30 years for each count. That will be long enough, and consecutively. And a firearm was used.
Was it 2 counts of second degree because of the unaliving of the. Okay,
Yep.
cool. Yeah, hopefully he gets 60 plus the extended. What is it for firearms?
25 mandatory minimum, and the firearm was used. So, Florida, where is she? I don't. Well, Tasheka, is out there somewhere in the great unknown. She may have been here earlier because Jody was seeing things on my screen that I could not see myself in person. I don't know. She asked me if I was on fire, but
You're hot and steamy.
it was something Jody could see. I could not. So I'm like, maybe somebody's here and I don't know about it. Oh, I don't know. Is Bree on your channel, Jody?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't
I
tell
don't
who's on
know.
whose.
She said hi. That's all I know,
It's
Gabby.
got a link above her name, so maybe she is.
I think she might be.
Okay.
All right, this was blasting for me, so caution. Turning it back on. Let me know.
Yep, I can hear it beautifully.
He's grown a beard since we saw him last.
All right, we're here in the matter of the state of Florida versus Bursey Armstrong. It is case number 2022 CF 7251, and we're here for a sentencing hearing following the jury trial's findings of guilt as to counts 1 and 2 as charged in the information that was on July 17 of 2024. The defendant is now present with his counsel as our counsel for the state. Before we begin, however, the court did receive the motion for new trial filed by the defense, and we must address that first. That was filed today. So, Mr. Fletcher, it is your motion. Any additional argument?
There's no additional argument, no.
Okay. Any response from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Having reviewed the motion and, of course, having sat through the jury trial, at this time the motion for new trial shall be denied.
That's quick.
All right, then, as he was entitled to it, the court did order a pre-sentence investigation report for Mr. Armstrong. Have both sides had an opportunity to receive and review that report?
The state has.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me begin with the state and first ask if there's any corrections, additions, or deletions to the PSI.
There is, Your Honor. It's called page 2, so it's the top is titled pre-sentence investigation. The degree of the crimes listed are first-degree felonies, and these were enhanced to a life felony. So I would ask that the PSI be changed to correct degree, which is life.
Red and purple shouldn't be seen together.
And it also says that the minimum mandatory is life. It's true that both counts can be a life minimum mandatory.
I couldn't hear you.
They focused on the back of her head, just a complete head, and
The red head.
hand down to the purple top. And I said, red and purple should never be seen together. Summoned.
25 years up to life. So then just that minor correction. As to page 3, although it does correctly state under legal status that he was found guilty, below that it says plea agreed upon, and it says guilty. And I'll just suggest that be stricken through since this was not a plea.
I'm sorry, where is that?
On page 3, under legal status, it goes down, it says number of counts waived, and then it says plea agreed upon. And of course, this wasn't a plea.
Correct.
As to page 6, and again, a minor correction, but under marital history, it says children, none, but then below that, it lists as 3 children, so obviously it's not -3. And then the last one would be as to page 8, and it lists restitution at none, and the state does have a restitution order prepared today. The Victims' Crime Compensation Fund did reimburse Ms. Young for funeral expenses at $7,500. And that would be the only corrections that the state would have.
So that's $7,500 to the Victims' Crimes Compensation Trust Fund?
Correct, and I have a restitution order.
Morning, Adele.
Good morning, Adair.
All right, thank you. I'm making those changes now to the PSI. All right, any corrections, additions, or deletions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And I have reviewed the PSI in its entirety, so with that, we'll begin in the sentencing hearing. Any
Would be nice.
witnesses or evidence that the defendant wishes to present?
Judge, I do have two witnesses that would like to make a short statement on behalf of Mr. Armstrong.
Okay, you can call one up at a time, they can be sworn and have seen the witness.
Linda Thompson.
All right, Ms. Thompson, if you'll come forward.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, my name is Linda Love. I was calling
I'm sorry.
Love, Thompson.
Okay. Linda Love.
All right, Ms. Love, and if you'll come forward and be sworn.
Right here, ma'am.
Right up here.
If you'll stand right here, please.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm testimony you give to the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, so help me God.
And have a seat for
Please, I'm on the
witness.
seat.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Love, you state your full name for the record, please.
I'm sorry.
Could you state your full name for the record?
My full name is Linda Love.
And how do you know Mr. Armstrong?
I don't.
Okay, but you wanted to make a statement on his behalf today.
Yes, a statement that his mother, because of illness, could not attend.
Okay, so you're reading on behalf of his.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. And that's prepared in writing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Your Honor, as you proceed to read that.
Yes, has that been provided to the state?
It has not been, I have no objection.
No objection, all right. And let me just ask you, Ms. Love, we have a tendency to go fast when we read. However, the court reporter needs to take down what you're saying accurately, so if you'll just be sure to speak loudly, clearly, and slowly. And if you will just step up a little closer to the microphone. Thank you. And can we have everyone to please turn off all of their electronic devices?
And the fire alarm.
All right, thank you very much. Go ahead.
August 22nd, 2024. So sorry I cannot be there. My body has denied me, but my spirit is with you all, Mom. To my beautiful and loving son, praise be to the Most High God for your life and for the lives of your children, Joshua, BJ, and Balin. Exodus 34:7. He visits the sins of the father on the sons. Did the Lord not end the line of King Saul and the prophet Eli by his word? You have been found guilty, though I love you. This act is an abomination before man and God. Our family is devastated. I am shattered, for I too love Tasheka. I honor the lives of my grandchildren. Your siblings are inconsolable. Your grandparents, who are almost 90 years old, are gutted. They wanted to come to support you, but oh, how they wanted to chastise you. We will never see wrong as righteousness. The Youngs are without their daughter, children without their mother. I have cried myself until whales without water form beneath my eyes. I feel their pain. I honor them for loving and caring for our grandchildren. I long to gaze upon them one day and hug them. I pray for them and dream of them, that one day we may be united with them. Repent, my son, for the following reasons. Sin bears a heavy weight in the land, and is a lodestone that will cast you down unto perdition. Confess this wickedness, if not for you, but for all of us that love you. My life has been threatened, the house vandalized. I go out and spray paint the profound words, God forbid. Your son, Joshua, was poisoned by Halloween candy and lost unconsciousness for 24 hours. But God, Joshua was just involved in a house fire where his grandmother's home was was utterly guttered. He and his family walked away unscathed, the mercy of God. BJ, your beloved, the concerns have already been communicated to both you and his mother, and most recently his grandmother, regarding the generational curses of that iniquity. The enemy is afoot, but I have cast him down by the blood of the Lamb. Your daughter Bailey, your pride, has no covering. Every woman, girl, etc. needs covering. I submit to the only true God to cover her life, her decisions, and her future steps. We live in a Babylon where evil will see her as prey. Jerome, live the rest of your days dwelling in the secret place of the Almighty. Lift up your seed to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Pray, weep and toil for them in truth and spirit. Repent and reclaim your sound mind. The evil one shall not overshadow you. The promises of God cast those thoughts down that are affirming in your mind. Continue to command the voices to leave you in the mighty name of Jesus, lest another curse be levied against the innocent, your children, Joshua, BJ, and Bailey. The truth is a powerful weapon. Use it, confess it, and love it. All of us go through rough times and seasons when we wonder if the Holy One is really there. The odds of seemingly being stacked up against us, we make pain and mourning the center of our lives. They become a comfort instead of our God. In Psalms 119:71, King David says, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn your statutes." I ask God, is this affliction good from a human perspective? My God is torn asunder. I wail in quiet places. I question everything about my existence. Why, oh God? Mindless torture,
Friday.
feelings of inadequacy, where I can barely recognize myself. Hide me in the secret place and restore my mind, Jesus. I have learned that afflictions grow character. They carve beneath pain and separate the wheat from the tares. It is on the threshing floor where all hate, wickedness, vile intentions, and unclean intentions are placed in the fire. It is also where the wheat is gathered unto holiness. Those that have prayed, hoped for, loved, for love is greater than all others. That love must be a copy that hugs opposing sides to righteousness, for separation is the weapon of the enemy. And have we not all suffered enough for him that I will give no name? The adversary of God's people, open your eyes, O children of Judah, blow the horns and return to righteousness through repentance, grace, forgiveness, and peace. I also ask myself as a Christian and a mother of the accused, why God? I cannot bear this thing. He was raised in the fear and admonition of you. O Holy One, as I bore down and birthed him, so shall I bear this. I shall bear this as a testimony to your goodness. I shall bear this as a beacon for my grandchildren. I shall bear this because you are sovereign and you, O God, make no mistakes. My God says in his word that he will never leave me nor forsake me. This includes you, Olivia. And we are overcomers by the perfect, precious blood of the Lamb. You see, as I have grown in age and my spiritual maturity, my need for Jesus has also increased. My need to be with him has increased. My need for him to stand by me has increased. I tried doing things on my own and I have always been met with the harshest of realities. That is, it's impossible to win without the Lord on my side. His word is not just for my son, for the court, all families. It is for the wicked world that operates with sleight of hand as though it is righteous. It is for the enemy who exalts himself above the Holy One. It is for the sons of man that the wicked are judged with iniquity, for they are delusional, who try to exalt themselves above God. May God be God. The children in your village that includes prayer warriors, for the iniquity is great. It is not, nor shall it ever be, greater than our God. Bind, loose, and free the seed. They are my blood, and I speak in authority with that no weapon formed against them shall prosper. You can keep me from your village, but my prayers by the Holy Spirit will encamp in your home, in your car, upon you and your grandchildren. Olivia, I speak peace and abundance to you and our families. Final word, return to Christ as though your life depended on it, son, because it does. Forgive yourself and others. Repent, for the day is nigh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, I'd like to add something if I might.
Oh, gosh.
I don't have a relationship with any one member in this court. I don't know the accused. I don't know their families. I don't know anyone here. I was asked about 3 hours ago to read this letter because a friend of mine could not be here.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Well, other than the church sermon, the beginning of that was shocking. They know, they believe he did it. They're all very angry with him. That you don't normally hear from a family, from a mom. Generally, it's he's such a good boy. I don't believe he did this. I don't. No, they're like, yeah, you did it, jerk. And we're all really angry with you. And I think a lot of that at the end was trying to. It doesn't sound like they're allowed to see the grandchildren. It sounds like her parents probably have them, and she would love to see it. She didn't do anything wrong.
Yep.
And she would love to see the grandkids. So I do feel bad for her for that. The rest was long, but it's the only time she's going to get to say anything to him or about him or whatever. And that's a really bad pause. Sorry, lady.
At least she shaved her armpits.
I just have that gift. Never leaves. All right.
I would have liked to have seen his face during
Sorry,
that.
Mr. Fletcher, you call your next witness?
Brittany Thompson.
Ms. Thompson?
Stand here,
Jesus.
please.
Please raise your right hand.
Oh,
You solemnly swear affirm testimony
That's
to
a
give the truth,
Sasquatch.
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
holy.
300 in the building.
Yeah. Duck.
Got some heels on too.
Yeah.
Ms. Thompson, may I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson, can you state your full name for the record, please?
It's Brittany Tompkins.
And Ms. Tompkins, how do you know Bursey Armstrong?
We are first cousins. Our moms are sisters
So you've known him for a very long time.
since he was born.
What would you like to tell the court today about Mr. Armstrong?
I don't want to look at him when I talk to him. Just, we all are really devastated with everything that, has happened. The last time I saw him was back around, in 2021, and, physically saw him, even though we communicated, but that was the last time I saw him, and, everybody was devastated then. And this, added to that. And we just still in a shock, because you didn't come from this. We weren't raised like this, we was raised in church. You know, he graduated from high school, went off to college, playing ball, good job, good family, you know, he's raising young kids. You know, everybody has issues here and there, and that's normal, that's life, but, you know, our family has never experienced anything like this before, ever. Not even to this extent, like just from 0 to 100, you know? And I know how you feel. I can feel your heart, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing you, I can feel your heart. I know there's nothing that we can say or do to undo what you did or what happened. We don't know, you know, still all the details of what happened. But, you know, it don't change how us as a family still feel about you. We still love you. We know that forgiveness can only come from God. It can only come from above, and you know that too. So I hope that you've been praying and asking for forgiveness, because it's been unbearable. It's really been unbearable, and you know your mom it's been really bad, Bursey. But I pray that some type of mercy will be upon, you know, your life. You know, one mistake doesn't take away everything, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Does for those 2 kids.
Yep.
I don't even know that person when the situation happened. Like, we don't know who that person is, because again, he was raised in church. Like, church, basically Monday through Friday. Always in church, you know, always the love of God, love of Jesus Christ. Like, I've never seen you even have a fight, have a temper tantrum. Like, I've never seen you act like that. Like, ever, with your friends, with family, with, you know, we've gone on family vacations together. You know, my mom has a Christmas party every year. You come, we see each other at our family events. You've never been a troublemaker, like never, never. So to be here, for you to be here is just shocking, you know?
Ms. Tompkins, you want the court to show some mercy, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Judge, that's all I have.
Thank you. Is there any cross?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tompkins. Any other evidence or witnesses you wish to present?
Oh, gross.
All right, State, do you have any evidence or witnesses you wish to present?
Judge, I have victim impact.
Hey, Regina.
Okay, I'm gonna call your first.
Hey, Regina.
The first one is
Good morning.
Flora Bonner. Is she in the-
Laura Bonner.
she's not here. Judge, she is not here, if I may read that one. So this is Flora, Flora, Bonner, Bonner. And it states, Judge Salvador, the murder of my niece, Tasheka Young, was very hurtful and still is. Bursey Armstrong took the lives of 2 people, Tasheka and her unborn baby that she was carrying. Tasheka was a very talented young person and is missed so very much. And so that would be her statement. The next one would be Anthony Cobb.
Can I just be certain, were these provided to the defense?
They were not, I just got them literally before the court.
Okay.
But I reviewed them, and like, for example, the last letter, I omitted the last line.
Okay,
So I
I
know.
found myself in the same position, Judge, I'm fine.
okay, thank you.
And Mr. Cobb,
And I'm sorry, who?
this is Anthony, Anthony, the letter T initial, and then Cobb, Cobb.
All right, sir, if you'll come forward then.
You can go up to 30, sir.
And
That's very true, dear.
Yep.
That's okay. And if you could stand in front of the microphone and speak up so the court can hear you.
Okay. Tasheka Renette Young's life and her unborn child's life was taken too soon by murder. Tasheka leaves to mourn forever a handsome young son, Bursey III, and a beautiful young daughter, Bailey. Their lives will be impacted by her murder forever with the loss of their mommy, Tasheka. Tasheka's life was fun-filled, loving, kind, and compassionate for herself, parents, family, friends, and most of all, her children. Tasheka would not get the opportunity to experience the growth of what life has to offer for her children. Love always and forever, Cousin Anthony T. Cobb.
Just the next one is Deborah Blair Crawford. And judges, she's approaching, her name is Deborah, D-E-B-O-R-A-H, Blair, B-L-A-I-R hyphen Crawford, C-R-A-W-F-O-R-D.
Thank you.
Gabby, we watched the trial.
If you'll speak into the microphone so everyone can hear.
Before sentencing.
Good afternoon.
Judge Tana Salvador. I am a cousin to Olivia Young, mother of murdered victim Tasheka Young and her unborn child, and grandmother to her two children, Bursey Armstrong and Bailey Marie Armstrong. At the time of this traumatic and horrific tragedy, I, as well as other family members and loved ones, have supported Olivia Young as she cares for the two grandchildren, Bursey and Bailey, with all the love and nurture possible. The convicted contacted Olivia Young after doing what he did to ask, have you talked to Tasheka? While all along knowing what he had done, and the children witnessed this tragedy and were left at the scene for 10 to 12 hours. Until her grandmother, Olivia Young, found them. Olivia Young was the mother who found her daughter. The shock, hurt, and pain from seeing this tragedy was overwhelming. Words cannot express the emotions and tears that day and the days ahead. Tasheka was an only child of Olivia and Ralph Young. She was loved by her parents and grew up to be a beautiful, well-educated woman. She was in the process of changing her profession from DJ to teaching. This was to allow more quality time for children. Those who knew Tasheka only have good and wonderful things to say about her, that she was loving and the warmth of her personality. Olivia Young has continuously talked to her grandchildren to tell them, Mommy is in heaven. Her grandson, Bursey, at 3 years old, would tell her, Daddy killed Mommy. Knowing this to be true, as witnessing the tragedy, Olivia has to remain strong, be positive, to love and nurture her grandchildren. Bailey was 1 year old at the time. In her own little way, she misses her mommy and could never not verbalize at that time based on her age. She stayed under her grandmother at all times, only at the time calling her Mima. Only Mima she would go to and let her hold her. No one could touch her. Bursey is in counseling since this tragedy. He goes once a week. There have been times when he goes into his room and cries and prays. And when asked what's going on, I miss my mommy. Olivia continues to communicate with Bursey and Bailey to ensure some sense of normalcy. As a result, they have asked to go to the grave site of their mommy, and they go continuously. When there are questions from our grandchildren, they are addressed with love and patience. Olivia Young continues to ensure a healthy and normal life for her grandchildren. She was granted temporary custody of them on August 2nd, 2023. Now raising daily and Bursey daycare facility for toddler activities, socialization skills with peers and structure. Bursey now attends public school as of August 12, 2024 in kindergarten. They are consistently in church on Sunday for Sunday school and worship service to receive spiritual growth and knowledge. Whenever the opportunity arises, they are involved in events, activities, and are going places to have fun and enjoy life. This requires a lot of responsibility then and now as they grow older. Through the love and grace of God, Olivia is strengthened day by day. She has the love and support of family, church, friends, and neighbors. In addition to this tragic death due to medical reasons, Olivia Young lost her husband, Tasheka's father, on April 23rd, 2024. So in response to all of this, it's a lot of hurt, it's a lot of pain. But again, through the grace of God, we'll be strengthened.
Thank you. Floyd, yes?
So her mom is Olivia. Did I understand that right? Who has the kids and then lost her husband in April this year, which was Tasheka's father, if I understood that correctly.
I don't
So this
know. I missed that bit.
poor woman went from being a grandma to being a full-time parent to being a full-time single parent in less than a year. Wow. At least these are victim impact statements. They're telling what's happening. Those
Yeah.
family members just wanted to get out what they don't blame them, just wanted to get out what they wanted to say to him. And at least they all, like I said, at least they are all holding him accountable for what he did and not trying to say he did not do that.
Yeah.
Sorry, lawyer.
No, I tuned out just in the middle for like 2 minutes, and then I must have missed that bit.
Well, it was hard to keep
It's
up. 'Cause
Gabby's fault.
I thought she said that was her mom. That I thought that woman introduced herself as her mom. But then, unless there's a step parent thing in there, I'm not sure. That was confusing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see who else is coming up. But I feel so bad for those kids being
Oh,
that
God.
young, and it's still and
Why don't
affected
you go
them
and visit their mum's grave?
all the time. Yes. Don't blame them. Just let them do whatever they need to do, though. Oh, it is always your fault, Gabby.
Mhm.
The look on the lawyer's face says it all to you, Gabby.
Yeah.
Is she here? She's here, okay. And Judge, that is LORIPITTS.
I think it's Purple Lady. Oh, maybe not. Nope. All right, come on, people.
And Judge, because it was emailed to me, and it's very small print, I kids. I would like to first start off saying that no one won, because in a case such as this, there are no winners. To the Young family, your loss is one that can never be replaced. Nothing can ever fill that void you will always live with from day to day. To the Armstrong family, your journey is just beginning as you will endure a loss, but in a different way. To the, and then we'll skip down, it takes a village to raise children, and the Young family has that, and more than just looking around. And the rest of it I've omitted just because it talks about punishment. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Right, well, that was pointless.
Judge, next is Veronica Smith. Is she here? Then I will read this, Judge. And this is Veronica, Veronica Smith, Smith. Judge Salvador, this is the most hurtful letter I've ever had to write. My cousin, Tasheka Young, and her unborn child was taken away from our lives for no reason. She was a professional and loving person. I can never hug her again and tell her I love her. Next is Denise Wilson. And Judge, there's one more after that one. And then I will read.
Mhm.
And judges, she's approaching. Denise is Denise and Wilson is Wilson.
Closed captioning is nearly as bad as Gabby's spelling.
My name is Denise Wilson. My sister is Olivia Young. My niece Tasheka Young was a wonderful young lady. Tasheka was kind, considerate. She had a warm heart. I will never forget her visits to the house. She had a smile that would light up a room. She was a great mom to her children. If you ever needed her for anything, she would be there for you. Tasheka has been missed by her family and friends. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of her. Tasheka's life was taken from her too soon. She wasn't able to live a full life because Bursey Armstrong Jr. took her away from us. His hatred was so horrible that he killed her and her unborn child. He also took their kids, left them without their mother.
And Ms. Young? And Judge Ms. Young is approaching again for the record as Olivia, Olivia, Young, Young.
All right, I think this is who has the kids.
Judge Salvador, I am Olivia A. Young, mother of the murdered Tasheka Young, and the grandmother of her two children, Bursey Jerome Armstrong III and Bailey Marie Armstrong. It has been very difficult to write this victim impact statement because my husband, Ralph Young, and Tasheka's father passed away April 23rd, 2024. The trial and now to prepare this statement, I am receiving painful and horrifying tragedy, which took the life of my daughter and her unborn child. The life-altering occurrence has been dramatically affected by two grandchildren, me, her father, and that caused a lot of my husband's problem. He could not get over our daughter that was murdered. Every day, he would grab my hand and we would just cry when the children wasn't around. This really took my husband's life. Family members, loved ones, and friends. Tasheka was a loving daughter and mother and was loved by so many. She was my husband and I only child and was truly a gift from God. As was present during the trial, I received communication from Bursey Armstrong on July 23rd, 2022. He called, the phone rang, and I looked at the phone, looked at my husband, and I said, hello. He said, Ms. Young, have you heard from Tasheka? I'm like, no. He said, when you hear from Tasheka, tell Tasheka to call me. I hung up the phone. I looked at my husband and I said, Ralph, let's go. I said, something is wrong. He has never called me to ask me about Tasheka. I grabbed the keys, my husband, he was literally running out the door, got in the car, and went to her apartment. When I got to her apartment, it was beat. The door was just butchered. And I put the key, but the door just opened. It literally opened. Okay. Upon arrival to Tasheka's residence, because of, yes, so I ran to the bathroom and called out her name. Then I ran to her bedroom. And when I ran to her bedroom, oh Lord, she was on the floor. Her whole body was as black as your outfit, and she was just as light as you. Everything was covered in it. My baby girl barely was holding her mother's bloody hand. She was just holding the hand. And Bursey was sitting in the bed shaking like a leaf on a tree, just shaking. Just shaking. When they looked at me, they're like, oh my God, you saved us. They ran and just grabbed me, a handful of blood soaking red and everything. They were just, it was terrible. And I tried to resuscitate my daughter, but you could look at her. She had gotten so big, she was that, she had swollen so large. And I called 911 and I was trying to resuscitate. She was gone. She was hard as a rock. She was just hard. And the babies just started crying and bursting. He said, Mama, Daddy killed Mommy. And I said, what? Daddy killed Mommy.
Can you remind me how old were the children at that time?
One, Bill was 1 going on 2, and Bursey was 2 going on 3. And they were just shocked. They were just horrified that it was in there, and blood was everywhere, and barely blood was all over her, and she was just holding her mom's hand like this, y'all. She was holding her mama's hand. She was holding her mama's hand. Lord have mercy, I'll never forget. Not a day goes by that I don't forget my only child. I don't forget it. It's in my head that he murdered Tasheka in front of his kids and left the kids there. Oh my God, who does that? Who does that? Who does that? Bursey and Bailey were always calling me Mom. But now they call me Mommy. They call me Mommy. This change occurred by them on their own. I tragically lost my child on July 23rd, 2022. And now I raise my 2 grandchildren as my own. This requires a lot of responsibility then and now as they get older. Through the love and grace of God,
You are full of it.
I am
Oh, somebody slap that prick. Slap that prick.
Whoa. Wow.
Oh.
There's his true colors right
Yep.
there. Wow.
Oh, they need a taser.
Ah, I cannot believe he did that. Wow.
You piece of shit.
Yep.
Remote, can you
I'll
jay it?
I'll
Oh.
I'll jay it.
You piece
So
of shit.
yeah, she's going through she lost her daughter and now she's raising these kids and she's talking about it, and then he
Interjects.
and yeah, you'll hear him. Yeah.
lost my child on July 23rd, 2022. and now I raise my 2 grandchildren as my own. This requires a lot of responsibility then and now as they get older. Through the love and grace of God,
You are full of it.
I am strengthened day by day.
Right there.
You
Don't know what
are
she's
full
full
of
of,
it.
because I don't think she said anything provocative to him right there, other than she's got a long road ahead of her raising 2 young kids. You ain't
I
gonna
think
be
it was the
there.
comment, by the grace of God, because apparently he's so religious, and perhaps she's not as religious as she's supposed to be.
Yeah. I cannot
Mm.
believe even then, there's nothing for him to say that for. Just shut your freaking mouth.
Yeah. Hopefully
To
the
me,
bailiff shuts it for him.
yeah. To me, that shows this whole, you aren't like this, you don't have a temper, you don't have this that we just heard from his cousin.
Mm-hmm.
That just says otherwise right there.
Mm-hmm. And this ain't the plot. Well, I'm glad the judge heard that too, because this is your sentencing mofo, and you going down.
Yep.
You going down.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he said it, Gabby. I mean, other than he just proved he can't control himself. So maybe they'll just like
Where's his care for the kids? Like,
absolutely nowhere, because he did it in front of them.
Yeah, but she's saying that she's taking on this responsibility. He should be thankful to her, not
Absolutely.
having a go at her.
Yep.
Piece of shit.
Absolutely. Oh, maybe they'll accidentally like tip him out of his chair. Taser, oopsies. He would deserve it.
Hopefully he sleeps on his stomach tonight.
Well, you know what Carmen says.
Yep. That's where I was going with that.
Yikes. All right, well, let's see what happens.
Get the taser out. Get the taser out.
I'm kidding. They're all heading over there.
Yeah.
I am almost and also thankful to have the love and support
He's got his hand in it.
of family, my church members, my friends, and my neighbors.
There's no love in it.
Okay, excuse me, we're gonna do this in order. I don't want to hear anything from the guy.
If you
What did
didn't
he
hear what
say?
he said, there's no love in you. To the woman that he unalived, mother, who has her children, his children. He said, there is no love in you.
Did you see the bailiff had his hand on his taser as he walked up to him?
Well, too bad that he didn't use it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to remove him.
I hope so.
Because he's out of control at this point. The judge needs to get it back under control.
Well, she was just yelling at him.
Yeah. I'll
Good.
back it up just a second here. Wow. Who knew this was going to happen?
Church members, my friends, and my neighbors.
There's no love in it.
Okay, excuse me, we're gonna do this in order. I don't want to hear anything from the guy.
To God be the glory.
There's no
To
love in it.
God.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Armstrong, we need to be quiet. We do this in order. If you wish to address the court, I will absolutely give you your opportunity, but right now we are hearing from Ms. Young. Okay, this is an orderly courtroom. We are not going to be out of order.
My apologies, Judge.
All right,
And that was the end of her statement, and that is the end of the victim impact statement.
all right, thank you very much. Again, I need everyone to maintain, I know this is very hard and emotional for many people on both sides, but we're going to maintain our professional and proper decorum in this court of law. Thank you all very much. Mr. Fletcher.
Taser.
Mr. Klein,
Taser.
Mr. Christopher, is there anything else you wish to present on his behalf?
Judge, he does not wish to speak.
Oh. After all that, sir, come on, stand up, big boy.
Yeah.
Really? After all
Put
that,
your big boy pants on.
he doesn't wish to speak. I knew it. I knew it. Oh my
Taser to
gosh.
the back of the head.
Yeah. Oh, you'll get your chance to speak. All right. Here's your chance to
Mhm.
speak. No thanks.
He can speak into the pillow tonight.
And
Mhm.
forever.
Mhm.
Oh, that he's awful. He's disgusting.
Come on, Judge, throw it at him.
All right, and I will hear argument first from the defense.
Judge, Mr. Armstrong stands before the court without ever having been convicted of anything other than this. So he's got no prior record. The PSI indicates he had a very good education. He's had good jobs his entire life. You can tell he was raised correctly
Oh yeah.
by listening to the statement that his mother asked a friend to read to the court. In that statement, she just reflects on how horrible this is, and she holds Mr. Armstrong accountable for his actions. I would just ask that the court, what I remember hearing from Ms. Tompkins is a request for some form of mercy in the court sentence. And I would ask the court not sentence him to 2 life sentences.
Ba-boom.
Okay, thank you. I'll hear from the state.
Your Honor, if I may approach it, I've given a copy of the guidelines to defense, and then I've got the victim information form and the restitution order that we spoke of. Judge, again, although I would say it's a correction to the PSI, I would just make note of something that is in the PSI. Under the defendant's statements, out of the blue now, we're hearing some very self-serving statements made from that PSI talking about hallucinations and delusions and how on the day of the crime he was hearing voices. This has never been raised in 2 years of this case pending. And the court will recall from his interview, nothing in that interview reflects anything like that. To the contrary, that interview was very manipulative, deceitful, cunning. So I would ask the court to disregard the self-serving statements in the PSI by the defendant about anything related to mental health issues which have not been presented to this court. And again, just going to that, again, there's 2 letters written to the court, one dated May of 2023 and one dated July 8th of 2024. And again, when you read through those letters, which are part of the record, his thoughts are very coherent, very organized. He's discussing all kinds of things like his philanthropic activities. He's discussing his professional life. There's absolutely nothing about mental health issues. And the one dated July 8th of 2024, which was written, according to him in the letter, after the final pretrial but before jury selection. Again, nothing in there about mental health issues, simply him saying, I wanted a continuance.
No lube,
no,
Bri.
it wasn't going to get to the court
Go
until
dry.
after the trial.
Go dry.
And none of that was mentioned at the start of the trial. As far as the criminal punishment code score sheet, he scores 39.15 years up to life. Both charges are life felonies with discharge and death. In addition to the life minimum mandatory that he is looking at for the discharge and death, his score is over 363 points, which means the court could, in addition to the minimum mandatories, could have sentenced him to life and consecutive lives just based on the score that he had. Before I go into my recommendation of the sentences, first I point out as far as whether or not these 2 counts can be run consecutive under Miller versus State, which is 2018 Westlaw 4784069H2, Florida 2018. And that case was actually a case heard before Judge Blas at the trial level. And the appellate court held that where during a single criminal episode there are multiple victims or multiple injuries to a single victim, consecutive sentences are considered at the discretion of the court, are permitted. And in this case, you have Ms. Young, who was shot twice, so you have multiple injuries to one victim. And then, of course, you have the death of her unborn child, so you have 2 victims. So certainly permissible. And one other case that stands for that is Jackson versus State, and that's 273 7 3rd, 1,103 at 1,108, and that's First DCA 2019. And that was actually a case held here before Judge Borrello at trial level. And again, the appellate court held that consecutive sentences are permissible because multiple victims and a gun was fired. And again, 2 victims and a gun was fired. And that court clarified that multiple victims do not have to be shot, just injured. So although Ms. Young's unborn child was not actually shot with a bullet, the child was injured in that he or she did die from the injuries sustained to his or her mother. So as far as consecutive, certainly it is the court's discretion that the court can impose consecutive sentences. And I would just like to briefly just respond back to a couple of things that Ms. Tompkins said. She said, we do not know what happened that day, and I would say this court sat through this trial very recently, and based on the overwhelming unrefuted evidence, we know exactly what happened that day. I mean, Ms. Young was in her bed asleep with her children. This defendant broke through the door, shot her once, pulled her out of bed, put her on the floor, and then shot her a second time in the back as she's begging for her life. And then Ms. Tompkins said, well, one mistake does not take away everything. Well, it certainly did for the Young family. It took away their only child, and it took away the life of their unborn grandchild. So based on the facts that this court heard in the trial as to count 1, and I'll point out, as I'm sure this court still recalls, this was a very sad and a very horrific murder. As Ms. Young, Olivia Young pointed out, you know, those 2 children were in that apartment from 1:15 in the morning approximately when that first 911 call was made until 5:15 in the afternoon, 16 hours. That these children were left alone, 12 months and approximately 3 years, left to fend for themselves. They had no one to feed them, no one to change their diapers. All they did for the 16 hours was they could lay next to their dead mother, holding her hand, and the one on the bed with his baby blanket. So when you consider the facts as to count 1, I would suggest that the appropriate sentence is a life sentence with the minimum mandatory life. And then as to count 2, although it is discretionary, I would suggest that this defendant should be held accountable for the death of the unborn child. And although certainly he was found guilty, the court could give him life, but I think a concurrent sentence does not truly give the unborn child justice. So I would argue that for count 2, it should be a life with a life minimum mandatory, and that should be consecutive to count 1. Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, I will just repeat what Ms. Tompkins said. I'd ask the court to show some mercy on Mr. Armstrong.
Boo.
All right, then Mr. Armstrong, if you'll come forward to the podium, sir, for sentencing.
Taser.
I think his mercy was when they didn't tase you when you were being a jerk.
Mm.
How about that? You got it already. Mercy. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't tase you. We could have.
No mercy for Bursey.
No. I'll walk your.
Hell's no.
That deputy's like, thanks, guys. Now I have to
No,
deal
it was
with them.
applause, Gabby, for the request for 2 consecutive life sentences.
Grenade in the window. Yeah, there is no reason. Yeah, he showed who mercy, not her, and certainly not his children, any of them, whether the unborn one or the 2 that he left there. So yeah, I hope he comes. It would have been. He should have begged for mercy.
Oh well, he'll be on his knees soon enough.
All right, let's see what he does.
So, Mr. Armstrong, I've considered obviously the facts as they came out during the trial, the jury's verdict, all the information contained in the pre-sentence investigation report, the information that I've heard here today.
Hey, you
along
have?
with the arguments of the attorneys. Let me just say a few words before I impose sentence, sir. And
Here to have this was one quick trial that we covered. It took like a day. It was, I think you came on in the next trial during the witchcraft trial with the hazmat suit and the fluids. This guy was convicted of unaliving his girlfriend, the mother of 2 of his children, and pregnant with their 3rd child. He left the 2 children in the house with his deceased girlfriend for 16 hours. They were ages 12 months and almost 3. And her mother went to check on her daughter, and she found the daughter. The 3-year-old was holding her deceased mother's hand, had covered her up with the blanket, and the 12-month-old was laying on her bed in her blood and covered up with a blanket, but was laying there trembling. And he was gone. He left him there. So he's getting ready to be sentenced. And he's already had 2 outbursts in court towards the mom, who now has his children, the mom of the deceased, who now is raising his children, the grandma. And he is now getting ready to be sentenced. And we get to say bye.
Yeah. So long,
will note
farewell.
that unlike many of the defendants that I see in this courtroom who come from broken families riddled with poverty, abuse, drug abuse, no education, you graduated from high school, went to college, played ball.
You know
as I
better.
pointed out, had a good job, and have absolutely no criminal record prior to this incident. You are unlike most of the defendants that I see in this courtroom. As your cousin also pointed out, and as your mom did, you were raised right, raised in the church, raised to know right from wrong. But what occurred here, as your mother stated, this act was an abomination before man and God. You killed the mother of your children. You killed your unborn child. You took these 2 lives in the presence of your other 2 children, who now are left without a mother, and for all intents and purposes, without a father. They don't have that mother and father to raise them. Now they're being raised, luckily, by a loving family, Miss Young, and those that will love and support them and her in those endeavors.
And then you abuse her.
This truly is an awful, tragic, desperately sad situation. But it's not a mistake, and it's not, it was an act by you and for which you must be held accountable. This sentence will certainly not bring back Tasheka Jones or her unborn child, and it may not even provide the peace and closure that Ms. Young's friends and family seek. I believe it was perhaps Ms. Pitts who said that in this case, both families have lost. Both families, no one's a winner. Everyone has lost here. Your family and Ms. Young's family. I can only wish for Ms. Young's friends and family that your good, happy, loving memories of Ms. Young will provide you the peace and comfort that you may seek in the days ahead. It's not going to be provided to you by this sentence. That is not the purpose of sentencing. The purpose of sentencing is to hold those who commit crimes in the state of Florida accountable for their actions. And as such, Mr. Bursey Armstrong, I will sentence you as follows. As to counts 1 and 2, I will adjudicate you guilty of each count. And on each of counts 1 and 2, I am going to sentence you to life in prison with a life minimum mandatory, with credit for the 761 days that you have served, and those 2 sentences shall run consecutively.
Yes.
I will impose mandatory felony court costs of $518. I have entered the restitution order in the amount of $7,500 payable to the Victims' Crimes Compensation Trust Fund. Do you understand your 2 sentences?
Yes.
Now, you do maintain the right to appeal the judgments and sentences in these cases, and you have 30 days within which to do so. Would you like for me to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you on appeal?
I'll speak with, I guess for right now, I'll speak with you.
All right, then I will go ahead and do that. But otherwise, that will conclude this matter today. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Court is in recess.
Isn't life
Bye-bye.
minimum of 51?
I don't know, but he got
Yes.
consecutive.
Yeah, I think life is minimum of 51.
Well, she said, hang on, I don't know what's happening. She said life. I thought
Minimum
she
of
said with a
life.
minimum of life.
Yeah.
So I thought that meant he wasn't going to get paroled. Life with the minimum of life. That a mandatory
Yeah.
minimum
But-
of life.
But I think
Is
when we
how
did who was the
But I don't
older
know
guy
that.
that was 57 that got convicted with life? And they said the minimum of years to be served on life sentence is 51, so he wasn't going to be seeing the light of day. The death penalty one we did. Yeah. I'm sure it's 51.
Yeah, but that's in Tennessee. So
Oh,
this is in Florida. So it could be, who knows
okay.
how the difference in their laws, because they can be completely different. But yeah, he wasn't. If he got life in the minimum of 51, he's never coming out. But
Nope.
nope. So, and I don't think this guy's ever coming out.
Good job.
I think he had a little moment there where he thought he was maybe going to say, I don't understand what you just said, to
Mhm.
try for this whole mental illness thing that's not going to work for him. And then decided quickly against it, which was good. And if you're going to appeal, dude, your lawyers, you have to have appellate court. You have to have appellate lawyers, not the lawyer you have now.
Mhm.
So just say yes. That's what his lawyer's like, just say yes and shut up.
Yeah.
Like, say yes. And then you're going to walk through that door back there and we're never
And they're going
going
to tase you in the back of the head.
Yes, they're going to trip. You're going to trip and fall and you're going to take it
Mhm.
because you deserve it for what you said to her poor mother.
Yep.
I bet his attorney was about to crap his pants, like,
Mhm.
just shut up. Duct tape, anyone? Anyone?
Yeah. I got some.
Just one strip. Just
Yep, I got it.
over the mouth. So,
Oh
so,
dear.
yes. I don't know. That's all. He's gone. We wasted a whole day on him one day.
Good riddance.
Although it was a bad trial. The details in that were bad.
Mm,
The mom, the police did not do a good job. I think
nope.
they could have caught him earlier if I know they can't just enter a house,
Yes, they
but
can with probable cause.
but even if they didn't see it, even if the door did not have any marks of forced entry, it was open. Just yell in there. Shine
I
your
mean, the
flashlight.
neighbours saying, I heard gunshots and what have you, at least go and have a look.
The problem, though, she didn't speak to him when they got there. They knocked on her door and she just looked through her peephole. No jokes, George. Just kidding. Kind of. Don't do it. But she wouldn't open the door for the police, so they did not have any more information from her other than what she called and reported to 911. Had she have opened the door and maybe spoke to them about what she would, just gave them the police her account of what had happened, maybe that would have given them more. They would have given them more to be able to go into the house, or made them feel like they had more reason to go into the house. Without her
True.
speaking to them, then they don't know. They don't know who called. They don't know if it's real. They don't know. There's a lot they don't know. So, like I said, do I think at the very least they could have just, the door was open, shine your flashlight in there and say, hello,
anyone home?
Anybody here? Like, your door is open. They may have seen something. If they would have just seen blood, they could have walked in. So, yes, Gabby. That's what I said.
That's what I was laughing at.
I know. Ignoring her for just a second. Where's Gabby? You too. She's over here. You're over there.
I had a brand up in my chat.
She already asked where you were, Bree. But we can see you both. All right. So tomorrow we are starting something new. We'll be hosting tomorrow. I will be back hosting on Wednesday. And that's what
I'm going to start at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard.
Oh, yes.
Instead of 9. But otherwise, same time, same place, same bad channel.
We'll be here. I'll be here. I'll even try to be awake. And I don't have to worry about starting the stream this time, so it should start.
I don't know. Not making any promises. I'll do my best.
Yeah, but it won't be on me. So, all right. Well, thank you guys. Jody's gonna go to sleep.
Oh, excuse me.
I am.
Well, I'm glad there was no mercy for Bursey.
He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it even before his outburst, but after his outburst, like, you just showed us. You thought you're so smart, and you couldn't stop. You can't control yourself. So, bye.
Come and join us tomorrow, baby.
George. It's good to see you, George. I know you've been hanging out with the wolf.
I'll get you, my pretty.
All right, you guys.
All right. Night.
We'll see you guys all tomorrow.
Love you all.
8 a.m. It's an early one. Set your alarms.
Have a good day.
Have a great rest of your day. For those of us in the U.S., we have a long weekend coming up at the end of this week, so we just got to make it through this week.
Cool.
Then we've got Monday off.
Stay safe. So, don't do drugs. Make good choices.
Guys, we're not bailing you out, just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll stream
we'll
your
follow
trial.
your trial, but we won't bail you out.
We might even show up at your trial.
Yeah.
Depending on which one of you it is.
We'll even run a tab on on the odds on who it is in the chat.
Yep. So
we'll have a poll next week.
All righty. So we will see you all in the morning, and enjoy the rest of your day. And that's all I got.
That'd be good.
Here's the outro. Goodbye. Bye.
Jody and Debbie here. Fill your screen with cheer.